Takes a second to start. All right, we're live. All right, I'll count down.
One second. Let me turn on my fan real quick. Yep. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Hello there. Welcome to episode 12 of Hello There, a Star Wars podcast, your weekly show for all things Star Wars. So Nate and I are both back with you this week. We had some scheduling conflicts these past 2 weeks where we introduced our new kind of sub-series hyperspace chat. That's what we're calling it, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. We named it something like that. I'm pretty sure it's hyperspace chat. But yeah, so we're back. We're here to talk about some huge news. Dave Filoni and team are bringing back the Clone Wars. So we're pretty much just going to talk about Clone Wars this week. I think Nate might talk about some more Thrawn, because I know he's gotten farther in that. I've kind of been slacking on that. But I do want to get back to it. But as always, I am Anthony Palm, and as mentioned earlier, my good friend Nate Hicks back with us.
Back from the dead. Yes, I'm quite alive. Quite alive.
So what happened? You had to go to Indiana for work training?
Yeah, I had to go for a week of training at our company's headquarters in Indianapolis. So that was all right. Whole lot of nothing happened. Like where we were staying at the hotel is called Carmel, whatever. And it's like middle of America, nothing to do. So we had fun Friday night. We all went out and got drunk. So that was cool. I met a lot of cool people, but yeah, not really anything exciting. Just learning how to do my job better, basically.
Yeah, that sounds rough. Did you bring your Switch?
Oh yeah. I bought the Battle Pass, Season 5 Battle Pass while I was over there. So
for Fortnite, for anyone unaware,
yeah.
If you are a person that has never heard of Fortnite before,
yeah.
But this is a Star Wars podcast, so just in case, I am kind of crossing the streams today. I have a Deathly Hollow shirt on because all my Star Wars shirts are dirty, and I don't always wear a Star Wars shirt when we record, but I try to. Not that anyone. I don't know if anyone's even watched this on YouTube, but we are streaming YouTube.
Did you watch that? Speaking of, this is a total segue, but did you watch the Fantastic Beasts 2 trailer?
The Crimes of Grindelwald. I think it looks really good. I'm excited for it. I know people had their qualms about the first one, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's just more of that universe. That's really all I want. It doesn't need to be. It's a totally different type of story. You know, like Harry Potter, it was always Harry versus Voldemort, except for Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah,
that's kind of why I like Prisoner of Azkaban, because it's the only one where Voldemort isn't the overarching villain of that movie.
Love Prisoner of Azkaban, and then quickly got turned off from Goblet of Fire. It was just a complete 180. Oh man.
Yeah. See, I read the books before all the movies came out, so I liked the movies more than I think other people do because I read the books, and I was like, holy crap, like they totally like adapted these books like super faithfully. So that's why I liked the movies, but I know some people that only watch the movies and they're like, oh, this one stinks.
Well, no, I was reading Goblet of Fire right before Goblet of Fire came out, and like I was halfway through the book, and then I saw the movie, and within the first 20-30 minutes, it was just completely not the book, and so I was a little turned off by it.
Really? What didn't match up for you? I thought it was
like the whole entrance, like there's a whole lot of like character exposition stuff in the book that had some really cool scenes in it that was just completely not in the movie.
You got to remember that book was like this thick.
I know,
You know what I mean?
but
It's
it was like
the book was real long. So
it was stuff that could have been in there, but that was a long time ago. So,
anyways, this is a Star Wars show, so yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about the big news that came out of Comic-Con. There's a lot of news that came out of Comic-Con, but we are specifically going to be talking about hashtag Clone Wars saved. So I'm super excited. It looks like we're only getting one more season.
yeah, I saw like 12 episodes is what
12
they
episodes.
said.
It's going to be on Disney's exclusive streaming service, which we don't even know what that is yet still. Yeah, so I mean, we're going to have to wait and see as far as the subscription service goes. I'm hoping that they just put, and we're assuming they will, they just put everything on that service. If they just put all of the Clone Wars from seasons 1 through 7, I guess this would be if you count Lost Missions as season 6. Because on Netflix, it's listed as Lost Missions, not a season 6. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see how they actually list it. And then, unless it's going to be all one season 6, is or they're going to combine Lost Missions with these new 12 episodes and make that season 6. Maybe
they could. The way they, as far as like the way they labeled the Lost Missions, and I guess how the last episode of Lost Missions ended, it wasn't a concrete end, so they could very well put those in there and make that season 6. So I could totally see that happening.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they could just have it be season 7 and then the Lost Missions is like, I don't know, like it's like a framed thing. I don't know, maybe. But I really hope that they launch the service before the Clone Wars new season comes out and have Rebels on there, because there may or may not be some stuff in Rebels that you're going to want to refer to before you watch the season.
Yeah, probably.
And it's not cheap to watch Rebels right now.
Yeah,
it's not on any streaming services. It's it's only season 4, I think, is on demand, and to buy it on iTunes, it's just really expensive. So hopefully they add that. They announced the service. I'm guessing it's going to be some kind of partnership with Hulu, because Fox owns Hulu, correct? Or they have a majority share of Hulu or something.
A very majority share of Hulu.
Something like that. So so if it turns in, if Hulu turns into Disney's streaming service, that'd be cool, because I have Hulu already. So but we'll see. But so what were your raw reactions when you saw this? Because I think I actually am the one that told you about it, where you were like, wait, what? So I guess I'll go first then, if that's the case. Because I'm sitting at work and I have the Star Wars app downloaded. I don't really ever open it, but I just have it. It's got like some cool soundboard stuff on it and stuff. And I look down, like I'm busy at work. It's valuation season. And I look down and I just see this notification from Star Wars. And it says, Clone Wars renewed for a new season. And I go, what? I'm like, wait a minute. And I thought it was like some kind of weird headline from like a news app, because I have the stupid news app too. But then I looked, I was like, oh, wait, this is the actual Star Wars app. And then I open it, and then I see the trailer from Comic-Con. And it's, it's the scene from Rookies, the episode Rookies, where it's like Rex and Cody kind of introducing themselves to like Fives and all them, and then you just see all the helmets, just like all the different clone trooper helmets we've seen, and then it goes into the whole sequence with on the Rebel, or not Rebel base, not yet, the Republic base, and you see Anakin overhead, and then it shows Ahsoka. So I was freaking out. I was having a total meltdown at my cubicle at work. So then I immediately texted you, and I was like all caps, like, oh my, like freaking out. So what was your reaction, and how did you kind of figure it out after I kind of told you nonsensically?
So I'm going to read what you wrote verbatim, because this is how it played out. I was driving. I was headed home. I was actually about to pull into my driveway, and word by word, oh my fucking God. Past like 2 minutes, I'm trying to text back what, and he goes, I'm gonna cry. Those are like all separate text messages. And I'm like,
before I sent you this,
before he sent me what it was, I was like, okay. And then he sent it to me, and then like I think I sent back like a funny GIF, but I was shocked because I wasn't paying attention to Comic-Con news at all. And then
I wasn't either. Like I said, I got this from the news app.
you immediately were like, go watch the trailer. And I did. And I'm sitting in my car. Like I just pulled in my house. I'm sitting in my car and I'm like, this could not have been a more perfect trailer. Like there was so much like everything that made Clone Wars special was in that trailer. Like it was not made by someone who's like, hey, we should promote this new thing. It was like most Star Wars things we consume. Like you could tell just made with a lot of creative inspiration. And the trailer, apart from the content, was beautiful. Like the way it was structured, like you said, with the helmets lined up and the VO in the background. But no, I was blown away. And I was surprised at kind of how different it did look, but how similar it looked to the original series, like the original Clone Wars.
Yeah, Anakin looked very odd to me. Not necessarily in a bad way, but just in a like, it's like they took the old like model of Anakin and then they like did a HD remaster of him. You know, like in like video game terms, and it's kind of weird, but I'm with it just because obviously, you know, with all the advancements they made with the technology for Rebels, why would they not apply that to Clone Wars? But I'm interested to see like if we watch, like I'm going to rewatch Clone Wars. Sorry, oh my god, I'm going to rewatch Clone Wars, and then when that season drops, I wonder if it's going to be kind of like jarring and weird to go from like the prior season and then seeing Anakin being like super detailed and stuff.
Well, like he definitely looks like the most Hayden model out of all of the Anakin like animation from the Clone Wars. So obviously this one is probably supposed to be the closest to Revenge of the Sith than the rest of them. But I guess to just jump really right into the discussion, the very first thing that popped into my head after I saw the trailer was, why now?
Oh, why? So we're getting into this conversation.
Yeah. so I'm going to be the conspiracy theorist here. I feel like something's up.
I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I think I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it because we typically don't really get like quote unquote political, not like real world political, but like Star Wars political. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. Prequel fans are the most accepting fans in the Star Wars fandom. Point blank. Like that's like if you like the prequels, you're accepting of pretty much anything in Star Wars. Obviously to an extent or to a degree. But I think that they're like, whoa, okay, so we're trying to placate these original trilogy fans. They're having a meltdown. We're trying to placate these new fans. They're having a meltdown. Hey, what about the prequels? Hey, what about that Clone Wars series that everyone really loved until we canceled it immediately? So I think that this is them. I mean, it's no coincidence whatsoever. You know, it's no coincidence at all that what was it, 2 months ago or a month? When was E3? Last month? That they announced Clone Wars content coming to Battlefront 2. You know, like I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that they are fully aware people want Clone Wars content, or at least the fans that don't hate them right now want Clone Wars content. That's what I think. What do you think?
Well, that was my second thought, but my first thought was with the timing of this, like, are we going to see something that's super important in the Star Wars universe come through in these next episodes of Clone Wars that's going to be important later down the line? Maybe not in like episode 9, but is there something that they specifically need to tell in this new season that they're making that could have a like snowball effect to further content?
So something. Ooh. Do you think that something is going to pop up in episode 9?
That was my honest to God first thought. Is there something that they need to tell that is going to have either a relation to episode 9 or a relation to content that we know is coming later on? Because and then the second thought was, oh yeah, this is a really good business move and business decision, because honestly, the way they left the Clone Wars when they canceled it, they wrapped it up kind of neatly enough, and then they had the lost missions after that.
They answered the biggest question, which is where's Ahsoka, and Ahsoka leaves. You know what I mean? So I mean, granted, we still need to see where she goes, and we do see her later on. And Rebels, which is a spoiler to you, but you already know.
I already knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they answered the one biggest question, which is why is Ahsoka not in Revenge of the Sith, and we see her leave. But I think you're onto something there. I think that there's either something with it. I doubt it's episode 9, just because the movies typically never rely on, well, except for Solo, which that we won't spoil that yet. Until how's about our statute of limitations for spoilers is until something comes out on home release, we won't spoil it. That makes sense. Just making this up on the fly.
We can do that. I know typical spoiler like.
I mean, if we announce it ahead of time, but I'm just saying, like, as far as like spoiling it without a warning,
like waiting until home release. Is that what you said?
There's a thing in Solo that could.
I mean, we can wait until it comes out on home release, but I guarantee you by now everyone knows who's seen it. So,
well, the problem is we don't know if enough people saw it.
That is true. That's very true. So yeah, we can do that for this instance. Yeah, we can do that.
But I'm getting off track anyway. So I think that the movies typically don't draw from the secondary content. I think the secondary content is what draws from and adds on to the movies. But so I don't know if episode I almost said episode 12 for some reason. Maybe because this is episode 12. I don't think that episode 9 is going to really rely on this Clone Wars season. I think that maybe Resistance can. I think that maybe
like maybe this could be a lead into Resistance.
Jon Favreau's show might have something to do with it. I think that maybe there's a novel that is going to rely on something. I wonder if maybe this is going to show Snoke in some way. Probably not, but maybe. Because Snoke was there. Oh, was it in the prequel era or was it during? Never mind. I think it was during the original trilogy era that it was confirmed Snoke was around. Never mind. Although you never know. Maybe we'll see Snoke in the Clone Wars too, but I doubt it. But yeah, I do think there's a reason they're bringing it back. But I do believe that part of that reason is to try and win some fans back.
Yeah. I think so. I think that probably does have a lot to do with it. Is like, you know, Disney really does need a win right now, like on a critical and like fan level, not money. Because financially, they're fine, but like they need a win when it comes to like this. But I think that there is an underlying thing behind that of why now? Like, what is it that they want to tell us that, you know, I don't know. But that's me with my tinfoil hat on. Because
no, I don't think that's very far-fetched at all. I definitely think that there's some kind of omen's the wrong word, some kind of it feels like there's a reason for it, definitely. Outside of just like, hey, let's bring it back just to bring it back.
Yeah, I agree.
So do you think, because I do have a lot of questions about Clone Wars still for this season, do you think it's going to be one gigantic arc, or do you think that it's going to be several smaller stories?
I think at the most it's going to be 2 or 3 arcs. If it's 12 episodes, I think we're going to get maybe 3 arcs, maybe 3 arcs at the most. I don't think they're going to be separate stories because going back to what we had literally just said, I think they have a specific story to tell. That being said, I don't think that they're going to focus on Anakin and Obi-Wan the entire time. But you know for a fact that the whole thing with Ahsoka, because like spoilers for the end of the trailer, Ahsoka's on the holocom, and she turns around and says like, "Hello, Master." So that's going to be a for sure story arc.
Yeah, so we pretty much know how that story is going to go, at least for the most part, because Dave Filoni has talked about it, because he didn't know if this was coming back or not ever. And he did kind of talk about that, which I guess I won't bring it up here if people want to go in blind to this new season. But we do have an idea of where that's going, and it's going to explain both Ahsoka and Rex's kind of absence from Revenge of the Sith. Because Cody is in Revenge of the Sith, so that would, like, we do know that. So
yeah,
the bummer for me is that, as appreciative as I am that it's 12 episodes, and I want to leave it there. Like, I am appreciative that it's 12 episodes, but to me, it's that feeling of like, yes, we're getting more Clone Wars, but oh man, it's 12 episodes, so we're not going to get all those side stories that we used to get. Because that's what I loved about Clone Wars, is there's so many different stories that focus on so many different characters, and now that we're only getting 12 episodes, and it looks like it's going to lead right up to Revenge of the Sith now, it's probably, like you said, going to be 1 or 2 arcs. And so I'm just worried we're not going to get those kind of side stories that I loved about the Clone Wars. And I hope that we do get a couple thrown in there, even if it's just one episode or 2 episodes where it's just a little side story. I love those. Outside of the droid, that droid arc was not what I'm talking about.
No.
But but like when who's the one that has to investigate Baron Papanoida's like disappearance? Do you remember who what character had to? Was it Ahsoka? It was Ahsoka, right? It was Ahsoka and Barriss.
Yes.
Yeah, like that was great, and that focused on just those two, you know. Or even like when Padme has to go to see Anaconda Far, and isn't that an episode with Jar Jar where it makes Jar Jar actually like really likable?
Yeah,
so, that's just what I'm saying. Is there's so many episodes of the Clone Wars backlog, which I guess I could just go back and rewatch those. Like it doesn't take away from that. But it was that kind of acceptance of, yes, Clone Wars is back, but it's kind of we need to keep perspective on what this season is going to be. It's not going to be a typical Clone Wars season, I don't think, where we get all these side stories and these fun moments. I think this is, I think Dave Filoni has a very specific vision for this one season, and it's going in one specific direction. And I don't know if we're going to get all those other side things, which I'm fine with. I just need to kind of come to grips with that as well.
So two questions. Aside from, so I know that Rex is in Rebels as well. Aside from whatever content he has in Rebels, in Clone Wars, up to now, do we have a clear in story point with Rex?
No. See, that's the thing is this arc is going to show why he is not where he is like geographically, but where he is kind of mentally in Rebels.
Okay. And my second one is, did we get a clear ending of Maul and Savage's story?
See, Savage, yes. Savage is dead. We know that.
Oh,
yeah. Palpatine straight up shanked him and then tortured Maul with the Force lightning, and then said, "I have a special job for you," or some. I'm paraphrasing.
One of those episodes. That episode was one of the most unexpected. Like, I can't believe I'm watching this happen right now.
Seeing Maul throw down with Palpatine, was awesome. So I wonder if we're going to get maybe a 2 or 3 episode arc of Maul, maybe. And I actually tweeted that Sam Witwer to no response, of course. But I was like, yo, like, we're going to see Crimson Dawn? Which I guess that's a spoiler, but whatever. Whatever. Listen, okay, spoilers for Solo. Spoilers, Last Shot. Man, that's a Solo book. Last Chance, because we're spoiling Solo. Darth Maul is in it. If you didn't already know, you probably already knew anyways. There we go. So I wonder if we're going to see Darth Maul escape from Sidious and then kind of forge Crimson Dawn.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
I think there's some of that story in a comic. Oh, was that Son of Dathomir? Did that explain how he got away from Palpatine?
I'm not sure, but I as excited as both of us are, of course, and everybody else, we do need to temper our expectations, because for me, I don't want to potentially poison the season by getting disappointed for what I'm not going to see in it. But I feel like at the absolute most, we'll have 3 story arcs for the 12 episodes. Maybe even 2. But I don't know. How would you say that the OG animated Clone Wars played it out? Like, I know there were only a couple specific storylines in the 2-season run, but I feel like in that short amount of time, they handled a lot of story really well.
So just to circle back, yes, we did see Maul escaping the Emperor in Son of Dathomir, the comic. So I doubt we're going to explore that at all. So I don't know if we're even going to see Maul at all now, unless this is going to time jump that story. Say the Son of Dathomir comic happened, this episode's taking place after that. Maybe. I don't know. Or we're getting a bridged version of, or it's Maul sitting in a corner and someone's like, "What's your deal?" And then he I don't know. I don't know, maybe. To be honest, I don't really remember the Gendy cartoon. I don't really remember it. I remember there was the showdown with Anakin and Asajj Ventress. And that's really all I remember, honestly.
Yeah, dude, you don't remember the like Grievous, like the introduction of Grievous with Windu?
Like I gotta rewatch it. Is it on
It's
YouTube
so
or
good.
something?
Probably.
Because they were all like short episodes, right?
Yeah, it was like
it was a micro series.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 seasons, but they were like maybe an hour a piece. That was like
the seasons were an hour a piece.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna look that up while you're talking. Origin.
I just don't think that's. I don't know if it. I don't think it's canon anymore. Like
So the full series on YouTube from 2003 is 2 hours and 12 minutes.
So maybe I'll watch that one day. Yeah, I don't know if that series is canon though. I think that I don't think it's not canon, but I think what Dave Filoni said is that they took influence from it, but they didn't explicitly acknowledge it. So I think that he kind of leaves himself room where if he wants to use something from that series, he can, and then kind of like quote unquote canonize it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it's explicitly canon with that series.
This is
where were you going with that?
Yeah. Where was I going with it?
Yeah.
With the
series.
Well, I was saying that whole series, like it says on YouTube, is 2 hours, but yet in that 2 hour chunk, like if you watch it back to back, they told a very concise, like few different stories that was all wrapped into one. So what I'm saying is that maybe what we're going to get with this last season is just maybe it is a lot of content, but like wrapped up in a nice little bow. It's kind of what I'm getting
hopefully at. The reason I would agree with you there, or at least be hopeful of that idea, is because they know exactly like how many episodes they have. They know how many episodes they need to get stories done in. It's kind of like with the lost episodes. I think if they knew they were getting canceled, they might not have wasted time with that Clovis arc, and they might have done something more integral to the story. And I think that this is a case in point of they know what they need to get done before it's over. And so, I think that there's going to be a lot of specific beats that are kind of crammed in. I don't think we're going to get very many one-off stories.
Because I brought up Grievous, did we see in the for the record, everyone, I'm asking these questions because, like Anthony, it's been so long since I sat down and watched the entire Clone Wars series. So I'm going to do the same thing that he's going to do and just go rewatch it. But did we see like him have the I remember in the Gendy series when they met Grievous, which I think you're right, it isn't canon anymore. While he's fighting Windu, like there is I think it's like a 10-minute scene. Towards the end, as Grievous is getting away, Windu like basically force chokes his oxygen system, and that isn't
his little gut sack thing.
Yeah, that explains the how he coughs all the time. I remember that was them giving an answer to why he, like in Revenge of the Sith, coughed like that. I don't think they ever had that in the Clone Wars series. So
I think that I think there was a cool idea that Genndy Tartakovsky had, and then Lucasfilm was like, "Hey, no, he's always coughed like that." I think that's what that was.
Because I don't remember him doing it in Clone Wars like as much as he did in Revenge of the Sith.
It could just be maybe aesthetically they just didn't want him coughing in little kids' faces all episode. You know what I mean?
I just want more Grievous in this last season because Grievous was awesome in Clone Wars.
Yeah, I was a fan of Grievous. The problem is they boxed themselves, which I guess George really did. They boxed themselves in because Anakin and Grievous never meet until Revenge of the Sith. So you still, in this season, can't have Anakin and Grievous meet.
Oh, that's a good point. That is a good point.
So he could be in it, but it would have to be him versus Obi-Wan, or him versus Yoda, or him versus some other Jedi that can just get smacked down again.
Did Dooku outcast him?
No.
in Clone Wars? No, that's right. No, that. Never
Well,
mind.
no, because Grievous was
Yeah,
the
the leader in
like the military leader.
yeah. I don't remember who did Dooku outcast. It wasn't Asajj. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Asajj.
it was
Yeah,
Asajj
it was
Ventress.
Asajj. Okay.
That's what I was hoping. I guess it's not him. I was reading something. I think it might have been one of the ancillary characters they added in the Lost Missions that I don't remember. But I thought the character standing with Anakin in that trailer that we got, I thought it looked like Quinlan Vos, but I guess it's not him. But I was hoping it would be Quinlan Vos because then we can see kind of the beginning of him and Asajj together. Because I know that I don't remember the name of the book, but I know there is a book about Asajj Ventress and Quinlan Vos kind of like linking up and hooking up.
Yeah, I think I saw that on Audible the other day. That's not a. I hate my phone sometimes. But of course, everyone's excited for this. I really do want to know what the story is that they're going to tell. It's called Dark Disciple. Dark Disciple is the name of that novel. I'm trying to see who you're talking about. Are you talking about when he was with? You talking about the person that was with Anakin when he walked up to the hologram of Ahsoka? Because that was Obi-Wan.
No, that was Obi-Wan. When he's standing out, when he's like standing at the edge of the hangar and he sees all of the Jedi cruisers in the sky.
Yeah, no, that's a trooper.
No, but there's a guy standing next to him with long hair.
Yeah, that's a trooper. It's Rex and a trooper.
I don't know. Maybe it's a different shot that I'm thinking of. I don't know. Either way, it's not Quinlan Vos, anyways.
But before we get off this, I pointed this out to you, and you told me I was wrong, but I knew I was right. Did you notice, everyone listening? Did you notice that location when they first showed the like actual footage from the new season? If you recognize it, it was in Rebels, and I think the place was called Fulcrum. I think that's what the planet was called. You were convinced it was great, but I thought that was really interesting because I remember watching that episode.
No, Fulcrum. Did you not get far enough to know what Fulcrum was?
In Rebels? Probably not, because I'm only like
but It's not. The planet isn't Fulcrum. Fulcrum is a person. So keep watching. But I know what you're saying. That place where they.
Fulcrum. Oh, the person they were talking to. That's right. That was when I showed you the clip when I was trying to tell you what the place was. I showed you that clip, and I guess that was from the episode. But the planet they're on, I remember. I think it was Hera and Sabine. I remember seeing a lot of Clone Wars like troop carriers. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then you see it in this trailer. It looks like that exact same location. So I don't know. I'm excited to see where that goes. Are you still looking to see that character?
Yeah, I can't find it. Whatever. We'll find out soon enough. What's crazy to me is Clone Wars ended. This says the final episode date is March 7th, 2014. Was that actual season 5's final episode?
I think
Rebels
so.
premiered the same calendar year Clone Wars ended. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense because did Rebels get announced before Clone Wars was canceled or after?
I don't remember if it was announced when they canceled Clone Wars, because I know Clone Wars was canceled mid-run. And then they're like, all right, we're going to finish this series out. We're going to move it from Cartoon Network to Disney XD, finish it out, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I don't remember when on that timeline Rebels was announced. But how does that make any sense if it was 2014? Because I thought Rebels took time off too.
Thank you for being patient, everyone. This is the research portion of the podcast.
Yeah, I guess. First episode date, October 3rd, 2014. Final episode date, March 5th, 2018. That's crazy, man. It feels like Rebels ended like a year ago. It only ended like 5 months ago. Not even 4. Oh, wait, 4. We're in July.
That's not. Thank you, Google. That's kind of what I'm asking, but I typed in when was Star Wars Rebels announced, and it was saying that the final season was announced. Blah blah blah. As of May 20th from StarWars.com, 2013, new animated series Star Wars Rebels coming fall 2014. So that was announced in May of 2013 that Rebels was coming out. And
so they announced it. So they announced that. Okay, so it must have been that the coming season of. Oh wait, hold on. See, that's the thing is I don't know if this is saying that the Lost Missions was technically the last episode, or if you know what I mean. Let me look up season 5 Clone Wars. Yeah, season 5 of Clone Wars ended March 2013. So this is saying Google is saying that the final episode of Clone Wars was March 7th, 2014. That must have been the day that they launched the Lost episodes on Netflix. Okay. So they announced. So they canceled Clone Wars. Then after it was over, they announced Rebels. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear on the facts.
Yeah. So it was canceled in 2013, and then they finished it out probably. Yeah. What you said. Okay. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So, I don't know. I don't know. I'm getting lost on this one.
Yeah. So we know we're gonna get resolution to Ahsoka. We know we're gonna get resolution to Rex. Are there any other characters that you're hoping we get a resolution with? Jar Jar, maybe.
I mean, I'm like, not to sound like I'm talking crap at all, but like I like Jar Jar in Clone Wars, but like I don't really need more Jar Jar. I don't really need.
I mean, we kind of know where his story goes, anyways. There was one of the novels where he ends up being like a street clown on Naboo, which is sad.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. It may be cool to see. What was his name? I always forget his name. I swear to God, I'm terrible with. Did we get a resolution with Cad Bane?
No, I think there was an arc that was supposed to happen afterwards with Cad Bane, and I think Boba Fett. Because I think that was okay. So maybe we'll get that too. I forgot about that. We might see Boba get the Slave One back from Cad Bane.
Maybe that'll probably be like a 1-episode story arc if I was to take a guess. I
hope we see that. That'd be cool, and show Boba kind of become a badass. You know.
Mm-hmm. I really want to see more like clone story resolution, like maybe not specific character clone stories, but just kind of get a more like, since this is going to be the last time we'll see their story in the Star Wars universe,
until
like they're into
Nazis.
Yeah. Well, they're intimate stories, like, you know, with Rex, which we'll probably get with Rex, but you kind of
wonder if we're going to get a story between Rex and Cody before Rex leaves.
I don't know. You kind of get a feeling that I think a lot of the clones, like the ones that we've seen throughout the series, are kind of not getting a fatigue, but kind of starting to be more aware of kind of what's going on, and which I thought was really cool when they were telling that story. God, what?
Yeah, the thing is, though, is that inhibitor chip doesn't care. You know,
right.
Like, I don't think we're going to see any additional clones decide that, oh, hey, I don't want to kill this Jedi. I think that's the most depressing part of it, is that all these clones,
no choice.
Yeah, they don't have a choice. It's that they're so close to these Jedi, and then I'm literally on the flip of a switch, they're just like, all right, you're dead. That's why I kind of want to see maybe a final kind of meeting between like Rex and Cody and Obi-Wan and Anakin, because Anakin, they don't turn on Anakin because
right.
You know what I mean? He's on the right side. He's not, all of a sudden Anakin's not a Jedi anymore, you know? That's interesting I never thought about that. Does Palpatine just put out like a mass, like a mass email saying like, hey, by the way, Anakin's not a Jedi anymore. Don't kill him. So I just never thought about that, because he does lead all the clones.
Yeah. Maybe we could see Saw again, because we don't see Saw again until Rebels, right? Well, technically Rogue One. And
We see him when we see him in Rebels, he's pretty close to who he is in Rogue One. So maybe we'll get a hint of him when he's still kind of the younger Saw Gerrera.
So I guess the last thing that we may see, and this is going to kind of transition into, I guess, the second thing for us to talk about. Slight spoiler for Thrawn, but the novel Thrawn. Thrawn, at one point, kind of a little earlier on in the book, makes a comment about how he had a run-in with Anakin Skywalker. Could we potentially see that in these last 12 episodes?
I wouldn't rule it out, but I think that's where they were leading. That's kind of where they're going with the new Thrawn book. So unless the new Thrawn book is tying into Clone Wars, which that would be awesome. But I wonder if they're saving that for there. It would be cool to get kind of a little taste of Thrawn in Clone Wars, since we do get so much of him in Rebels. But yeah, I'm not sure.
I think we may see him. I think we may see him in passing at some point. Like they may meet. And then that could lead into, was it Alliances? Is it Thrawn Alliances? Is that the new one?
I think that's the new one, yep.
But do you have any final thoughts on Clone Wars? I feel like we're just kind of talking about what we want to see in total.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all I wanted to talk about specifically, is just kind of what we're looking for and kind of our raw reactions to it. There's nothing off the top of my mind that I want to talk about other than what I've mentioned. I'm just happy that Disney finally realized, like, hey, you had a good thing and you chose to just axe it without even looking at it. You know what I mean? It seems like they didn't even look at what they had. They were just like, oh, well, this says Cartoon Network on it, so it's getting the axe. And now all of a sudden, look at how many people are excited that it's back, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just glad they realized that.
So there is we could probably do another topic about this sometime, but there's one thing about Clone Wars that has always kind of stuck with me, and that I don't know if you've ever noticed this. When Clone Wars, there's like little Easter eggs that I've noticed throughout its existence. In Clone Wars, when it first came out, when it first aired, the episode Rookies, there's a part in Rookies where they had crawled out of the base and were on the outside part.
On that little cliff ledge, right?
On that cliff. And the creature came out, and it was either Fives or someone else yells, "What the hell was that?" That was the only time I heard it, was on that air date. Anytime after that, anytime like on demand or anywhere else, he didn't say hell anymore. So it was something something interesting that I noticed, that part was taken out, like for future airings or when you went to go. But I don't actually know if you. I think that's how it is on Netflix too. So it makes me.
I've just restarted Clone Wars, so I should be on Rookies in the next few episodes. So I'll keep an eye out for that.
It makes me wonder, like, did like the execs at the time were like, "Hey, let's not do that because it's supposed to be a kid's show," and then they kind of like cut that out for later. It's not anything that's important in the absolute slightest, but it's always something that I thought was interesting. I was like, well, I wonder why they did that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's why. It's a kid's show.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not like they've never said hell in Star Wars before. Because like Han says, "I'll see you in hell" when he's going out to save it. I'm saying Anakin. When he's going to save Luke on Hoth.
Yeah.
Which I always thought it was interesting that hell is a concept in Star Wars. Like hell to me seems like a very earthly construct, and in Star Wars, it's like, well, is it HEL, like the Asgardian spelling? Is it hell, but like it's a totally different kind of idea? So, not getting into that, but I always thought that was interesting too when I heard that.
Yeah. But
good.
Well, I guess another thing I can talk about is my continuing with the Thrawn novel, which I'm a little disappointed that you haven't been catching up.
Dude, it's Val week at work. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've been so busy at work. End of the quarter is always super slammed for me.
It's so good. This book is. I haven't listened to a book in a long. I said this about Last Shot, but I mean this more about Thrawn. I haven't listened to a book or read a book in a long time that had me hooked that I was like, it's the same thing as I'm watching TV, because like my job, I'm basically in my car for the most part, driving to different locations, and so I get a chance to like catch up on these. And I'm sitting, like I'm driving, and as scenes are happening, it makes like I'm getting the same excitement I would out of watching something on TV. Like there's moments that happen that are just like kind of like oh cool, I wasn't expecting that. But I touched on it mostly during my hyperspace chat little bonus episode, but it's the same reoccurring theme of I want nothing but Thrawn to succeed in his endeavors in this book, but I know that he is a like terrible evil like person. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a weird like part that I'm in, that it's so fascinating to observe this character and the way he does. And there's like, I think my favorite thing so far is because he is this brilliant tactician, you like witness his plan, like him thinking of a plan and then him instituting it. And it's such a cool experience to like witness that and to have the other interaction with characters, like not sure what's going on. And then Thrawn like pulls it right out from under him and is like, oh yeah, this is actually what's happening. But as I mentioned earlier, I think the thing that kind of solidified it the most for me was whenever there was an interaction where he is talking to the Emperor. It's like when they first meet him, and
right, because and just to preface this, the Emperor is a xenophobe. He doesn't like non-humans.
Yeah.
So,
and that comes across a lot in that scene in the book, and so it's seeming like he's not really wanting to give Thrawn the time of day. And then Thrawn just kind of, he throws it out like it's just like a statement. It was like something about it's my interactions with Anakin Skywalker. And then like you hear or you read in the book that like that gets the Emperor's attention. He's like, what? Or he gives him, it's more like he gives him more like validity after that. Because he was like, I remember Skywalker talking about something like that. And then the way he talks about Anakin is interesting, because he was like, unfortunately, he perished valiantly, trying to stop the Jedi.
Oh, right, because the public doesn't know that Anakin is Vader.
Yeah, so it's a cool thing to...
Which, going back to that, is weird that, like, he still looked like Anakin up until Mustafar.
Yeah.
So...
But, that's really the only thing that I can think of that is quote unquote a spoiler, but they're making a new book about Thrawn and Anakin, so not necessarily. But there's just like small surprises that come across in the book that aren't really anything big universe building, but are just cool to witness.
Okay. That's I like that about that's what I liked about Last Shot, and that's kind of what I liked about the parts that I've gotten through in Bloodline. Which yeah, I know you think Bloodline is boring because it's very political, but I'm kind of digging it. So I'll try and get through Thrawn first, just because that way we have something to talk about. But I do definitely want to get back to Bloodline.
Yeah, I should be. Actually, no, I shouldn't be. The book is like 16 hours, and I have, I think, 12 left. So I still have a good bit of the way to get through it. But there's some really cool stuff that comes into play, probably about like chapter 7 or 8 or something like that, that I honestly wasn't expecting. So there's some nice little surprises in there, and just like I can't wait to hear what your response is, to see if you like it as much as I do.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, so I'm hoping I have time to get through some of it this week. Like I said, end of the quarter is always nuts for me. So, but I'll definitely look into. I have the audiobook, so I just gotta actually, turn it on. The problem with me is that trying to listen to it at work, it's like if I get distracted, then I miss something someone said, and then I gotta rewind it, and it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah,
but I'm glad you're liking it though, because Thrawn is a very beloved character in the the Legends universe, and so I'm glad that he's seemingly got a good treatment coming back in the back in the canon universe, and I'm hoping. See, that's kind of a spoiler. I'm hoping that they find a way to
connect the book and Rebels.
Connect the Heir to the Empire, like the original throne.
Oh,
Like the original
yeah.
But I'll leave it at that. So, yeah. So, is there anything else you want to talk about? I guess that can kind of pretty much wrap this week. There is a video I just stumbled upon on Facebook while you were talking about Thrawn of James Arnold Taylor's reaction to, and that's the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi in Clone Wars. His reaction to Clone Wars being saved. So,
do you want to do like a live reaction to it?
Yeah, let me send you. I'm going to tag you on it, and then when you have it up, we'll. Oh, come on, why is it not letting me tag you? And Facebook is just the worst.
I'm trying to use Twitter more because
Yeah, me too.
Like, that's what I have on my phone now because I just deleted the Facebook app yesterday. But I'm not really used to just using Twitter normally. You know what I mean? I know you are because you constantly are on Twitter, but
well, I'm mostly on Twitter because of soccer.
Yeah.
Where did it go? I just lost it. Why is life so difficult?
I hate that about Facebook so much. It's like, oh, I found this really cool thing. I've gotten to where if you go to the videos tab and just kind of do a general search, you'll find it.
I'm just going to look up James Arnold Taylor. And Nate is liking my other posts while I'm searching for this. Here we go. Okay. All right. Share. And thank you for bearing with us, everyone, while I just try to get Nate tagged on this. Here we go. All right. So let me know when you have that up. Start from 0, and then we'll watch it at the same time. I don't know if there's going to be any spoilers or anything, but we can at least see what his reaction to it is and kind of cover that right now.
Okay. Let me. Okay, I have it set to 0 and just got to press play.
All right, so 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, and it looks like it got cut off at the end, but
well, that was not what I was expecting, like him to react to the trailer, but
that's cool. So
yeah,
basically he's saying that, and maybe I'll see if I can kind of rip the audio and post that into the episode. But he's basically saying like the fans are the ones that saved it, and Dave Filoni, of course. So that's pretty cool. That that it seems like everyone as part of the show, and I saw Ashley Eckstein, who's the voice of Ahsoka, tweeting as well. Like this is all because the fans willed it back into existence. So that's pretty awesome, and it shows what positivity can do with Star Wars. Positivity.
Take a note. Take a note. Write that down in your like wide ruled paper. Take it down.
Yeah. Oh, you mean people were encouraging them to bring Clone Wars back instead of threatening them to bring it back? Oh,
I know. I can't believe that.
So, I guess that's going to wrap this episode. We're both super excited for Clone Wars to come back. Let us know if you are excited for Clone Wars to come back. Let us know what arcs you want to see, what what you don't want to see. So if you specifically don't want to see any more of Jar Jar in these last 12 episodes of the prequel era, we can assume. Yeah. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hello there, podcast@gmail.com. I'm at Anthony Palm on Twitter. Nate is at Sixtix17. That's SYCSTIX17. General Kenobi, you are a bold one.
So uncivilized.
I got it right this time for the first time in like 3 weeks. See you all next week. Thank you.